Wreck My Podcast!
Don't mess up his groove or you'll be sorry. We revisit a movie that when I was a child I could recite word for word from memory. Does The Emperor's New Groove still hold up? Or will this trip down memory lane wreck our childhood?
Wreck My Podcast!
Welcome to the Wreck My Podcast. Today, we're talking about Emperor's New Groove, in case you missed 30 seconds ago the introduction I just did. I'm here with some guests. She wants no touchy. It's Morgan.
Hi.
There you go. What's with this chimp eating a bug? It's Kreger.
What?
What's with this chimp eating a bug?
Oh my God.
It's Kreger.
Jim's got to eat.
Yep. Booyah! It's Kate.
Bring it on.
You threw off his groove. It's Joe.
I'm sorry, sir, but you threw off the Emperor's groove.
I'm sorry. And then squeaker, squeak. I'm your host, Jordan. I can't
Squeak,
do. I can't.
Come on,
do the
Kreger.
voice. Yeah, Kreger. What's the voice?
Squeaking.
Yep, there you go.
Squeak,
That's
squeaking.
me. I'm the host here.
Is that my voice?
I like that. Okay, so before we get into this, in case you haven't watched Emperor's New Groove in a long time, all of us have recently, obviously. But if you haven't, I want to throw the trailer on real quick for our watchers, listeners, fans, obsessors, stalkers, all those
Haters.
people, and haters as well,
Groupies.
to watch this trailer, and then we can get into talking about it, so you can refresh your memory of what the Emperor's New Groove is.
Long ago, in a faraway land, there was a prosperous kingdom ruled by a young emperor.
Boom, baby!
He had a serious attitude.
You threw off my groove.
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
Sorry.
An evil advisor
By the way, you're fired.
I'll take over and rule the Empire.
and one major problem.
I'll just poison him with this.
Hey, Kronk, can you top me off, pal? Be a friend?
A llama? He's supposed to be dead!
Yeah, weird.
Take him out of town and finish the job.
Now, his only hope is a humble peasant.
Demon llama!
Demon llama? Where? You kidnapped me.
Why would I kidnap a llama?
You're the criminal mastermind, not me.
What?
Tell me KUZCO's dead.
Ow!
Well, he's not as dead as we would have hoped.
No. Break. Ha!
For your highness, I gotcha. You're safe now. Or not.
No touchy.
Why did I risk my life for a selfish brat like you?
Now I feel really bad. Bad llama.
The Emperor's got a new look, a new partner,
We're gonna have to work together to get out of this.
You know, it's a good thing you're not a big fat guy, or this would be really difficult.
and a brand new groove. Walt Disney Pictures presents The Emperor's New Groove.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell me. We're about to go over a huge waterfall.
Yep,
Sharp rocks at the bottom.
most likely.
Bring it on.
My spinach puffs.
So yeah, if you guys missed,
spinach pops.
trailer voice, trailer voice was in
I
that
miss him so
trailer.
That
much.
makes me so sad.
Yeah. So you pretty much just watched the whole movie.
Yeah, like the
trailer.
entire movie is
Yeah,
in
the
that
entire
trailer.
movie is in that whole trailer. So there you go. Thank you for listening. Tune in next week when we talk about So let me give you a little bit of breakdown of Emperor's New Groove. Some of the stuff about it. Came out December 15th, 2000. So what, Joe? We were 11.
I was 9.
Yeah, 11.
Yeah.
I remember
was
seeing this
7.
in theaters.
I was 10.
I remember seeing this in theaters. Okay, so we were all very, very young. I think I saw this in theaters multiple times, actually, because I love this movie. I literally could recite this movie word for word when I was younger, which I did with my friend Kyle Mayhew on multiple occasions. Anyway, it's done by Disney Animation. Cool. Okay, so here's what's weird. Budget, $100 million. $100 million. Now,
It's a huge budget.
I'll
for this.
explain later in fun facts why. Because there were a lot of production problems. So I think that it wasn't supposed to be a $100 million budget. I think it got to that because of all the problems they had. And we'll
Okay.
talk about that later. But it made only $9 million opening weekend.
Really?
It ended up making $169 million worldwide.
Okay.
So you made your money back. But in America alone, it only made $89 million. So it didn't make its money back in America. But again,
But you said it was 100. So
100 million.
They made 80% back in America.
they did.
Oh, that's a
That's
loss.
technically a flop. But what's cool is 85% critic response on Rotten Tomato, 83% audience response.
Yeah.
Very high.
Wow,
Yeah.
critic
Very
was
high.
higher than the
Yeah.
audience?
Which is not typically
rare.
for an animated Disney film.
Yeah.
Not very. Yeah.
For animated anything, critics hate animated
Exactly.
movies most of the time.
Exactly. So it's a weird dichotomy there with their budget and what they made and what the response is. And we'll explain later when I give you the fun facts about what happened with this movie. You'll see why it probably cost that much. Now, this was directed by Mark Dindal. He did Chicken Little.
Okay.
That's about it. He hasn't done anything since Emperor's New Groove, except for he's in pre-production of the Garfield movie supposed to come out in 2020.
Well,
I'm excited for that.
Chicken Little was after Emperor's New Groove.
I mean, Chicken Little is
Yeah.
the last thing he did.
Chicken
but
Little was good though.
yeah,
And it had our boy Zach Braff.
Was
Yeah.
Chicken Little animated or claymation animation?
Animated.
Animated. Okay.
But it was a little bit more.
Wasn't there
It was
one
like
that
a
was
3D animation,
It was
right?
very similar to Jimmy Neutron animation.
It
yes.
was,
Okay.
yeah.
So it was the weird CGI animation.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And they had lots of like highlights and shadows.
yeah.
Way
It was
more
kind
than
of
any
a.
other
It was kind of
animation.
an odd one. I remember.
It was like if James Cameron's nephew made a movie.
yes, Mark
And there's
Dindal.
tons of
his nephew.
explosions.
Okay.
That's
So
Michael
anyway,
Bay, my bad.
we have some of the cast here, which is great. David Spade is Kuzco. I love David Spade. You know him from Tommy Boy and Joe Dirt are like the big ones.
Yeah.
But he's in a million other things. I think David Spade made the role.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
We have
Him and
John.
Crunk.
Yeah, Crunk made the role too. Made it too. But John Goodman plays Pacha.
Pacha.
Pacha. You know him from Roseanne, The Big Lebowski, The Flintstones. Newer things are like 10 Cloverfield Lane and Argo.
We need to do the Flintstones.
Oh, The Flintstones would be a
Yeah.
great one to do. I agree. And then Viva Rock Vegas. Eartha Kitt played Yzma. Do you guys know who Eartha Kitt is?
Holes.
She was in Holes, yes.
was in Holes.
But you know
She
what?
was
She is
Madame
from the
Zeroni.
60s.
Yeah, she's Catwoman.
She is Catwoman in the 1960s Batman show
Yeah.
with Adamowicz.
The reason she got the Catwoman role was because she could purr. That was her thing, was that she could purr.
And it's funny they turned her into a cat at the end of the movie.
They did.
Because they're like, hey, you're a
Irony.
Catwoman, yeah.
Yeah.
And she reprised her role as Yzma in Emperor's New School. You remember that show on Disney?
Oh my
Emperor's
God,
New
I
School.
forgot about
Yeah,
that.
reprised her role with that until she passed away in, I think it was like 2008 or 2009.
I want to say she's also the original Santa baby that
Oh,
came out.
probably.
She's the one who
I
originally
think I remember
sang it.
seeing that
Yeah.
in her list of stuff on IMDb. Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a lot.
She's great.
She had a lot of
She's
stuff in the
amazing.
60s and 70s. She was huge.
She has, that's her natural voice. That's why she's got such a cool, because Yzma is what she sounds
Yeah.
like all
Yeah.
the time, which
Yeah.
is
That's a
no
good
one
voice.
sounds
That's
like
a good
it.
character
Yeah,
voice.
They
right.
casted the roles and really just had them kind of talk how they talk, which is nice, you know.
Yeah.
Except for our next person, Patrick Warburton. He did a little bit of kind of the lower of
Yeah.
his voice, but he talks pretty much
It's
like
very
that.
He's
similar
like
to
that.
his regular
Yeah, no.
voice.
Yeah, he plays Kronk. You may know him as David Putty in Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm.
He was also the Tick. Joe Swanson in Family Guy. He was in the Orville for a bit, I think in season
He had like
2 at the
a really,
beginning.
really small
Yeah.
role.
Small. He
He
was in
did.
like 2
Yeah,
episodes.
wasn't he the one who was chewing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
He
also-
showed up for the one character who had to leave for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was just chewing.
He's also the voice in the intro of Soaring California.
Yes, he is.
That was my next
The
thing.
old
You know him
school-
from that intro video of Soaring
That-
Over
that
California.
no longer is there.
And-
No.
Yeah.
Is he
It's
not?
now
Little
just called
Beauties.
Soaring.
Well,
It's
But is he
soaring
still-
over the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it's no longer just
Is he
California.
not the? I haven't been there in forever.
no,
Is he
they
not
have,
the
they have
intro
a
guy?
They have a
He's
different intro.
I thought he was the same.
They have a different intro now.
That
What?
sucks.
I don't even want to go on that ride
That was
now.
my favorite part. That was my favorite part.
Best
on
part.
with his neck here? What's the line?
Where are we talking about?
In the middle of his gigantic neck.
mean
That
this
is a
thing?
little strange. Like
Yeah.
maybe an Adam's
be his
apple,
app,
but
yeah.
like in
Yeah.
a weird,
Yeah, it's like a
an
weird
inverted
Adam's
Adam's
apple thing.
apple.
It's like never mind. I'm not even gonna say that. So anyway, Bill Farmar, who voices Goofy, had an uncredited voiceover role. In
I
this
saw
too.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you
And
know
also,
who what character it was?
It didn't
no,
say she's
but
uncredited.
also Morgan pointed this out to me when we watched it. What character is the old man? Who's the old man?
Oh, Piglet.
Yep, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say when I heard his voice, I didn't notice it when I
Yeah.
was going through. When I heard his voice, I was like, he's from Winnie the Pooh,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Totally sounds like
Yep.
it. It's great. So anyway, what were some of the things you? What were some?
Scared just like Piglet.
What were some of the things you guys remembered about this movie before rewatching it this time around?
That I loved
Pretty much
it.
everything.
Kronk,
Yeah, I loved it. Yzma as a cat, Kronk, and then like the squirrel and like the little squirrel scouts and stuff like that.
There was one thing I remembered that always bugged me in this movie. When Kronk and Yzma are in their lair the first time, and she gives him the poison, and he's holding the poison, and he does this thing where he like holds it here and does this. It just floats in midair in the animation. That always bugged me, and I watched it again. I'm like, it bugged me again.
I didn't even notice
Like,
it.
looking at
I
this, and
did
he does
see
this,
that.
and he brings it down here, and he goes
Yeah.
like this, and it just floats.
And it's just sitting there.
And I'm like, was that an animation problem, or was that like a joke?
joke.
Because later on, when he does the double dutch,
seemed
no
like a
one's
joke.
holding it, and it's kind of a
Yeah.
joke and stuff. Because they're very fourth wall breaky in this.
Oh, yeah, it's
in this
great.
show. So I was like, oh, I remember that bugging me so much as a kid, and thinking like, oh, they messed that up. But I think it's supposed to be in there.
When I was talking to Morgan, the one thing I did not pick up until now was how when they're after he fires Yzma and then they're having the dinner, how KUZCO insinuates that Yzma and Kronk are like a couple.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I
Like,
never picked that up.
So he's good. Like, how old is it? Late 20s. Late 20s, I think. Yeah, it's like the very awkward, weird
and
thing.
she's uncomfortable too
Yeah.
with it, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Well, there's another moment I'm going to bring up later when we do the plot breakdown that I want to get your opinions on a joke. What you think they meant by that joke? Because I sat there and I was like, is this one of those like jokes that Disney throws in where it goes over everyone's head and it's supposed to be sexual, or was this a kind of an innocent joke that I'm just reading into too much because I'm
I
a
feel
guy?
like it's something they purposely threw in for the
Probably,
adults.
but we'll see. We'll see. All right, what was your experience overall rewatching it this time around?
Loved it again.
Loved
Yeah.
it. Loved
It
it.
was
Good
really
stuff.
good.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Pop the popcorn and just enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's great because it's a short movie. I love movies like this. They're just short and fun.
Yeah.
It's
Just
good.
fun and entertaining.
Yeah. And then finally, what is your favorite part?
Sorry.
Yeah, what's your favorite part, Kate?
My favorite part is when they are, I don't remember their names now, but they're stuck in underneath the rock, and she breaks off the door handle, and then the kids are like, "Okay, kids, go do your thing," and then
Yes.
she goes flying through honey or bees, honey, then feathers, and then she ends up being a pinata.
Pinata, yeah, that is funny. And then Kronk's like, "Let's do this again real
right,
soon.
right.
Let's not wait till the next family reunion."
Yeah.
I love that.
And it just holds the character that they're part of their family.
I know, it's great. What did you? The rest of you guys? What was your favorite part?
I personally, one of my favorite parts is when they use the diner lingo and they're in the diner.
Yes,
and
the
older
restaurant
lady,
scene is so great.
And the older lady, she says something. She rattles off all these different orders to Kronk in the back, and he's like, okay, so two pigs, like burnt.
Yeah.
He goes through the whole thing, and it's like awesome.
That was pretty
And the
good.
cat looks like a trout.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, he says turn the
a steak that looks like a fish
turn
or
the-
something.
Yeah, and he says turn the beef into a fish or something.
Turn the beef into a trout.
yeah,
Something
yeah,
like
that's
that.
what it was. Craig, what was your favorite part?
Honestly, everything with Kronk. He's just my
Kronk
he's my favorite.
is great.
Yeah.
Kronk is great. Joe, how about you?
I agree. Kronk is great. Between the restaurant scene and the final laboratory scenes,
Yeah.
where even when they first
All
get
the
there, it's like
animals.
I
looking
forgot
for
about all
this,
the
and then he was like, "How did you guys beat us here?" And even Kronk's like, "I don't know. The math doesn't even add up."
I wrote that down specifically as like a great moment.
I love
Great
how when
moment.
they're running and they see the trail and they look
behind
and they're just like it's just like
or another part, I'll just say it now instead of in the plot breakdown, when she's like, "Are you looking for this?" and she's pulling up her dress and you're like, "No,
No.
like, it's the knife."
knife,
You're
and
like,
you're like,
okay, got it.
Yeah.
They did not want to see old Poon.
I also love when like when the guards get turned into animals and he's like the kid's like, I'm a cow. Can I go home? Yes, you can go home.
Yes, you can.
Everyone else good? Yeah, we're good.
They're like, no one lives forever, man.
That or anytime Kronk is talking to his shoulder angel and devil.
Right?
Second thing, well, look what I can do. No, he's got a good point.
First off, look at this guy wearing a dress.
What is this stringy thing you got here?
It's a joke.
It's a robe. We've been over this before.
It's a harp.
But my favorite part is when he does the handstand, and he's like, "What does this have to do with the situation?" And the angel's like, "No, he has a point."
Or when he's arguing with them, and
He's
the
just
other
like,
three of them are like,
"What?
"What the hell? What's he doing?" They're like, "Well, Yzma just handed me this knife and told me to go."
I think that another awesome part is the giant trampoline. I told you. We didn't order a giant trampoline. He's like, well, you could have told me before I set it up. So many good moments. So many good moments.
And all the jokes where Yzma is scary beyond all reason, where the old guys are both sitting at the table and they're like, what did she look like? And the other one's like, like old, and the other one's like, scary beyond all reason.
Yep, that's it. Was there anything you guys hated about this movie? Like a scene where it's like, I wish they took that part out.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
No. Definitely not.
All right, cool. Well, there you go.
That was
What about you?
I didn't really hate any parts. I thought there was a lot where I was like, okay, that could have been funnier. But yeah.
There is one scene that's just kind of, I mean, it's funny. It has its funny moments. It's just not really necessary to like the entire plot line. But his whole choosing a wife part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me guess. You have a really good personality.
I mean,
I think that was really
they're
funny.
still trying to like show you that he's a jerk.
Yeah.
He's selfish
And they all
jerky.
looked the same.
They did.
They
That
only
was
had
kind of funny.
different haircuts.
That was kind of funny.
You made a good point.
Yeah.
It's Jasmine.
The Yzma thing?
No, that there was no love interest.
Yeah, there isn't.
Oh, you're right.
There's not a single
That's
love interest
a
at the
good
entire
point.
You're
except
right.
Pacha,
well, that is his love
brotherly
interest. Yeah. Oh, I maybe a little bit more.
I think Pacha's love
there
interest
really is no
for
romance
llama.
aspect to this
Pacha,
movie at all.
Pacha and all his llamas.
Now there is a love interest between KUZCO and a character during the Emperor's New School, which was a spin-off show
That's what
on Disney. Her name was Melina.
That's what I remembered. I was like, I thought he had one, but no, it's from the Emperor's
Well,
New
do
School.
you want to know why the story? Okay, I'm gonna get into this fun fact right now, real quick here, because this is crazy how this story started. Actually, so this film was originally planned to have been a dramatic, sweeping Disney musical called Kingdom of the Sun, to be directed by the same guy as The Lion King, with 6 original songs written by Sting, and it was essentially an Incan retelling of Mark Twain's The Prince and the Pauper. David Spade was the voice of the young Emperor Manco. Owen Wilson was Pacha.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, a young peasant with a striking resemblance to the Emperor, and Eartha Kitt was Yzma, the aged royal sorceress. The film involved Manco and Pacha switching places, except that Yzma finds out, turns Manco into a non-speaking llama, and makes Pacha do her bidding. Pacha also eventually was to fall in love with Nina, the Emperor's betrothed, while Manco as a llama learns humility in his new form and comes to meet a tough-as-nails female llama herder named Mata, where they team up to stop Yzma's evil plans, save the country from darkness, and end up falling in love with each other as the journey goes. So this was supposed to be a lot different.
I kind of
than
like
what we
that.
got.
I
Now
kinda
the
like what they
reason,
were urging into.
the reason that they switched it up is because the resulting film tested very poorly, and the production was suspended, even though 50% of the film was completed with Owen Wilson.
Okay.
Oh,
You know how they do? They're doing all the live action remakes of all these movies. What if they did that in a live action
And they
version?
did the actual Prince and the Pauper version of
That'd
it.
be pretty cool.
Well, what's crazy
They did it
is
right.
the dude who, Roger Aller, who directed Lion King, got fed up and kind of left production. And that's why Mark Dindal took over the full role. And they rewrote it as a comedy and pretty much took away the whole story and just said, make this funny. And they almost just nixed it. They were like, you know what? This isn't working out. But they had so many franchise tie-ins with McDonald's and other companies that they couldn't just get rid of it, which is why I think that they cost them so much, because they literally made half of a movie and then had to scratch the whole thing and remake the movie. And not to mention the animation team got pretty much pulled from this and put over on Fantasia 2000, so they were working with a bare bones animation team on top of it.
Oh, wow.
So this whole thing just got like completely destroyed, and it's funny how funny it is that this
well
wasn't
loved this movie is.
this
You know
wasn't
what?
supposed
Then
to be
you know why
good.
it probably had a $9 million opening week or weekend?
Probably poor marketing.
Poor marketing.
Yep,
Because they were
exactly.
probably like, this is going to be trash.
Exactly.
We're not going to market it.
Yeah, exactly. And then people fell in love with it. Yeah, so that's that. Here's what some of our listeners had to say about it, because I put it out on Instagram if you remembered anything. So Joe Janero from the Comic Book Rundown podcast, we love him. He said, so the scene right after Pacha leaves KUZCO in the woods the first time, you've got the fly screaming, help me, in the web just before a spider eats him. I love that part, too, because he gets eaten and he's like, too late. So that cracks me up. He's like, you've got a fun, playful squirrel that KUZCO is mean to, but then he gets his revenge on KUZCO in the jaguar pile, which we saw in the trailer.
Which is KUZCO's fault.
It is KUZCO's fault, exactly. And then when Pacha returns, all Tarzan-like, coming at the jaguars, who then just move out of the way. He loves that all. Plus, Kronk is great and has great theme music for himself. Yeah, that part was awesome. I think that's the best part of the whole movie.
You sounded like a big burly man like thrusting during his eye.
The best part too is that like when they pull back on that scene, the giant things are just pointing at him. Love that. Fluffy_96 said, "To this day, it's one of my favorite movies. Definitely remember the fourth wall breaks before I even knew what they were. The humor is what always got me. David Spade's voice, can't imagine anyone else doing it, and all the sarcastic, arrogant humor." So thank you, those two, for writing in what they loved about this movie. Guys, here's our first segment of the show. Oh, yes, it's time for Jordan to explain the movie quickly. This is where I'm going to explain the movie real fast for you. A self-entitled trust fund kid learns humility by becoming a llama and finding a true friend. But the real lesson is that you should never trust wrinkly old ladies. There you go. All right.
Scary beyond all reason.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's move into our plot breakdown. Let's get ready to break it down.
I like it.
This is the plot breakdown. All right, so that breakdown means that we're getting into our breakdown of the plot. So I'm going to just go through it here. Stop me when you want to mention something that you liked about it or you thought that was good and everything. So we start off. We're introduced to KUZCO as a llama. He's in the rain, has a hard time. We go back to see how he got there. It's kind of the thing where it's like, you wonder how I got there, kind of thing. I forget, what was that TV show?
You know, it's like they do it all in every 90s show. Like, hey, see that guy? I know it's hard to believe, but that was me just 6 months ago.
Exactly. And then they go back and show you how they got there.
Oh, it's me as a baby. Oh, so cute.
So we go back and we see that KUZCO is a spoiled emperor, and we get a theme song by Tom Jones.
Yes.
Which is great. I love the theme song. Yeah. Then we get the line, "You threw off my groove," which is great. The old man, I said, is voiced by someone in Winnie the Pooh, which you actually knew was Piglet. I couldn't peg the character, but I'm like, I know that's from Winnie the Pooh. There's lots of internal monologuing and fourth wall breaks, which I think makes this movie. I love that, because back in 2000, that wasn't as huge, especially in a kids movie.
Yeah, especially in animation.
I dropped my pen. So we get introduced to Pacha, who is the protagonist. Would you say he's the protagonist? I feel like he's the protagonist. Yeah. And then we have Yzma, who's the antagonist. And then Kronk, her minion, who is a few spinach puffs short of a pastry shop. KUZCO fires Yzma, which creates a scenario where she wants to kill him and take over the throne. What?
So when I was a kid, I never realized that he actually caused his own demise. I just thought that she had been plotting this for years, and like I never ever realized that was a thing. I always just thought that she had just been plotting this because she's always wanted
It was
this.
the final straw. Because I think she still was the plot, because she was always trying to
Eventually.
sit in the throne and trying to
She would have
be
gotten
the
there
queen.
on her own if like he hadn't
She
done
would have
that.
eventually, but I feel like when she goes through that whole monologue where she's talking about doing it, and she realizes, we can kill him. Like you can tell that's the first time she really thought about actually killing him.
Yeah.
Which is like I never ever put that together.
Yeah.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because it's crazy because it's like a killing thing and a kid's show.
Yeah.
But it's done well enough, I guess, that like you don't realize it's that morbid of a thing when you're a kid. But it is a pretty morbid thought process to have.
Am
on
I
that.
the only one who's really creeped out by Yzma's like spider leg eyelashes?
Oh,
I don't like them either.
I don't like her head dressings either.
Also, her fingers in this picture are really creepy.
Also,
Plus, what was that thing that was in her teeth?
Yeah, how long
has
has
that been there?
Morgan pointed this out in the dinner scene.
Yeah.
Her dress is cut to like her belly
Oh,
button.
all the way up.
It's
Yeah.
so
No, it's all the way
appropriate.
down.
And her boobs are like.
Oh yeah, she doesn't have boobs.
No, but they're like
She does.
They're
They're just
little
these little
triangles
pointy
down
things.
here.
They are little triangle pointy things. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you're 168 years old too, you tell me how good your
They
boobs
say
look.
she's 168.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Why do we even
I
have
mean,
that?
she's proof that dinosaurs did rule the world one time. So,
She is prehistoric.
she is prehistoric. So
'Cause all the
KUZCO
dinosaurs fear the T-Rex.
tells Pacha that he's going to destroy his village and make it his summer home. This is where the theme of selfishness comes into for the movie.
Complete with water slide.
Click. Yzma throws KUZCO a dinner where she tries to poison him but accidentally turns him into a llama, and KUZCO is then accidentally put on Pacha's carriage instead of killed. There's a lot of stuff here that's awesome. Kronk holding the poison, and it floats that I was talking about. This is where it happens. The poison for KUZCO. The poison to kill KUZCO. KUZCO is poison. You're talking about that poison. That line is great. The Kronk humming scene we talked about already. Classic. Love that. And then the shoulder angels and devil, which is great.
Also, even when Kronk... go ahead. Well, even when he doesn't remember which glass he pours it in, he has to pour it in all three.
And then he looks over and he's like,
don't drink it. And then when he's drinking it, it's like going down the side.
And she just pours it down it. Yeah.
That is great. I love that.
Did the crocodiles look familiar to you guys?
Were they the same crocodiles from the movie Crawl that just came out a few weeks ago?
No, Peter Pan.
They're not the same crocodiles.
Wait,
how many different crocodiles can there be in animation?
I'm saying the heads are identical.
Did you? I didn't hear any. I didn't hear an alarm clock going
Mayan, squares in them, but they look face wise.
I'm pretty sure they just use the same animation.
Probably they had the assets sitting around. I'm sure. Yeah. So KUZCO ends up back at Pacha's village before Pacha finds him, and he orders Pacha to take him back to the palace. One thing I want to mention here: did you hear that the other llama's name is Misty?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I missed that.
Yeah, I like that. And then also, I love when he's like, llama face. That's great. Pacha will only help KUZCO if he doesn't destroy his village, so KUZCO lies to him to get his help. Hilarity ensues. Yzma figures out that Kronk didn't actually finish the job and kill KUZCO, so they go out to find him and stop it because that would be really awkward after that funeral. KUZCO and Pacha get into a bunch of predicaments where they almost die and they have to work together to get out of it, and that's where the trust between them starts to build. Kronk talks to a squirrel. That's fun. So we get to the diner scene, right? This is the joke. So they go into the diner, and he's like, oh, it's our honeymoon. And she says, bless you for coming out in public. Now, is that a sex joke? Like when you're on your honeymoon, you're always just in the room having sex? Or is that like a, she's so ugly, bless you for coming out in public?
I think it's a second.
But
then
a second later, when KUZCO is walking into the kitchen, you see the guy at the bar look at his butt moving, and he like looks at him and like gives him a thumbs up, like he's like a hot piece of ass or something, you know? Like, so I was like, I don't know what we're supposed to get out of this joke.
I mean, I know. I still think it's the second one where it's like she's ugly, but then you still got the same joke. I think not the same joke. The
I think that was a secondary joke of like
it's a bit more sexual.
Of like that other guy's like, I'll do anything.
Yeah, I don't think the two jokes are tied together. They're separate.
And I think it really ties to the fact that she is a snarky waitress, which is
that's
we
true.
kind of need.
She
always.
is.
Yeah,
she is snarky. She's got moxie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moxons.
Okay, so anyway, KUZCO realizes that Yzma is there and thinks she will help him, but then finds out that she's actually the one who tried to kill him. So he realizes that Pacha is his only friend. So KUZCO has some character development now, and now Pacha and KUZCO are on the same page. We have Yzma going to Pacha's village with Kronk and posing as Pacha's relatives, and now it's a race back to the palace, which is what we were talking about with like the dotted lines and everything. And somehow Yzma and Kronk beat them back. Yzma starts showing her leg with the knife, and that's the joke. Okay, there. They have to try all the vials now. So to switch KUZCO back, she knocks all the vials into a big pile. So now they're just trying everything. So we have these funny moments of him turning into all these different things, like a whale with 5 gallons of sperm, and as you learned on a round table, and all these other things that are really, really funny. And then the moment where he turns back into a llama, he's like, hey, I'm a llama again. He's like, wait a second.
Also, I noticed that when he's a parrot, it's very similar to Lion King parrot.
That's true. It is.
No, I mean,
you mean Zazu from Aladdin? Yeah.
No,
Zazu's
from Lion King.
Zazu's from Lion King. Yeah, sorry. Iago,
also, I thought it was really funny how like the kids are clairvoyant.
They are. They had a dream. They're Jedi.
Yeah.
Like what? The kids remember they had the dream about. I dreamt the dad had to kiss a llama.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
the kids are actually a very underrated part of the.
They are a very.
They were so cute.
When he goes.
Night, Mom.
Night, Mom.
The part where he's talking to KUZCO and he's like, I think my family can handle themselves, and it just goes to that whole scene. It's great.
Yeah.
Also.
Oh, they are good.
Just turn the handle. There is no handle.
Break it down, Kronk.
And you see her
but
like
this
evil
mahogany.
Well, this is a really nice mahogany.
Love it. Okay, so we now have the end, the climax, where they finally find the right vial, and it gets knocked out of their hands, and KUZCO now has to choose between saving Pacha, who's hanging for dear life, off of the palace or save the vial, and he chooses Pacha. And we think the vial's gone, but the vial bounces from a giant trampoline, and they get it again, and lo and behold, happy ending.
Well, Yzma turned into a cat. Too.
Yzma did turn into a cat.
I wish I could do
forgot
that.
about that moment.
I wish I could do
this.
I wish I could do Yzma's cat laugh.
Well, the first cat laugh is like the.
She looks like Zorg.
Yeah, kind of. It was the same like laugh too, almost. But anyway, they work together to get the vial. KUZCO saved, and then live happily ever after on a hill next to Pacha's hill. Yep.
Which is my favorite bro moment when they open the door together and they look at each other and they're just
it's good. I love it. And then we get the theme song again at the end, which is nice. Thank you, Tom Jones. And boom, end of the movie. No post-credit teaser in this one.
I would note, I didn't realize at the time the Tom Jones theme song is actually very well. He talks about despots and there's like a bunch of different synonyms for basically like dictators.
Yeah.
And like there's like all these different authoritarian whatever.
Yeah, like
all
Hitler.
these different names that he just uses that I would have never gotten as a kid.
Yeah.
Just like another. You
Well,
know.
it's funny because it's a heady song, but anyone only remembers this chorus of it. Yeah, exactly. And that part always bugged me too as a kid with all the guards dancing and they were all off from each other, and I was like, isn't it they're supposed to be good at this? But that's like the joke is they're not good at it and everything. But yeah, that always bugged me too. Anyway, that's the plot breakdown. Hey guys, did this wreck your childhood?
No,
No.
not even a little
Not at
bit.
all.
Nope.
It just reinforced my childhood.
Yeah,
I
it's like,
agree.
this was great.
I agree. I had a blast.
Those were the days.
I had a blast watching this. I don't remember which one of you guys came up with the idea to do it this week because I was kind of like out of it, and like on the group text I had mentioned a few other things, and you guys were like Emperor's New Groove, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's a good one to do.
Yeah.
And it's an easy one because I feel like we all
It's a
know
great
this
watch.
well enough, and like it's fun to watch and everything. So
This
it
was
wasn't
the
like
right lever.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it was the right lever. Exactly.
Yeah, it's so funny that they had so many production problems and that it didn't really do that well when it came out in theaters and everything.
But it's so
honestly,
fondly remembered.
I view this as like an instant classic.
Oh, me too.
an
Me
underdog.
too.
Happy accident.
It kind of is a happy accident, yeah. And it really was. It came out at a good time, December. Like that's
Yeah.
a great time for a movie to come out because everyone's off and it's either cold or snowy where you're at, so you want to go to the movie theater. You know. Anyway, let me talk about some fun facts here. That humming scene that we love, Patrick Warburton improvised that whole
Yeah.
thing. That's really
'Cause
cool.
he's wonderful.
He is wonderful. He is an American treasure. He's like a giant 5-pound gummy bear. He's
I would
great.
just love to have conversations with him.
Yes.
Just-
Me
I just want to
too.
call. I want to
Is
call
it
him
just-
up and hear his voice.
Is it just me, or does he not really do stuff anymore?
No, he does.
He does.
Just not as like
He just had
prominent
he
roles.
had a sitcom with David Spade. It was called Rules of
But that was
Engagement.
old.
Oh, that's
Yeah, but
that
that's
was like
not
10
that
years-
old,
I mean,
though.
he was on the Orville like 6
Sure,
months
okay,
ago.
okay.
That
And
was like
he's,
6
he's,
months ago.
he's Joe in Family Guy, which
Yeah.
is that's a concept.
And it's not
Okay.
just Family Guy. He shows up in the Cleveland Show. If that's
Yeah.
American Dad, sometimes like he does a lot. Believe
does
me,
a
if
lot
you
of
look-
voiceover work.
If you look at his IMDb page, it's
Oh.
insane. It's insane.
IMDb?
IMDb, yeah, yes. Internet movie database.
Internet movie double penetration.
That exactly. This is the first Disney animated movie to have a pregnant lady in it.
Really?
Yeah. What was her name? Chica?
Chicha?
Chicha? Chica?
Pacha and Chicha.
Pacha and Chicha.
Oh,
Show
by
me
the way,
loves
that
Chachi.
actress is really good too. Like,
Yeah,
she's
I
in a
didn't
lot
put her
of
down.
stuff.
Her voice
I
is
didn't put her
like-
down, but she was in a few things that are like recognizable and everything. I don't know why I keep grabbing Pikachu right now.
Why not?
Exactly.
He's wonderful.
So the
Pika,
line that none of us brought up because it's not funny, and the writers actually fought to get this line taken out, but the producer said no, you have to keep it. Lions, tigers, bears. Oh my. You remember that line?
Mm-hmm.
When they're
No.
reading the vials.
Yeah, they're going
Lion
through the
vial,
vials.
tiger vial, bear, and
Yeah.
then
She's
Yzma
like,
goes, oh my.
Yeah.
The writers fought to take that line out 'cause they're like, this is the stupidest line, but the producer's like, no, you have to keep it in.
It was. I liked.
It's not a memorable line.
No,
the
not at
rest
all.
of the movie
no,
is memorable.
No, and like when it was in, I was like, huh.
But see, I'm not even like, huh. I'm just like, okay, whatever. So I thought that was an interesting fact there. Then let's see. They wanted Barbara Streisand at first to play Yzma.
No.
Before.
Yenta?
Oh, they would have
No.
given her a song and everything.
Uh-huh.
Oh, no way.
Which
It
is
would've been too
funny.
much.
Which is funny because so Sting was originally supposed to have a bunch of songs in this,
Which
right?
I think is the ending credits is the Sting
Yes,
song.
it is a Sting song.
And
They
it's
kept
so
one.
emotional.
He made 6 for it, and they kept 1, and they got rid of the rest.
It's too emotional for me.
And so the original ending of the movie was KUZCO building his huge summer home on the hill next to Pacha instead of the little
Yeah,
shed
'cause
he had.
Those hills sing.
Yep.
The Venture Bros.
Oh, Patrick Warburton is on that? You're
By
right.
the way, that went from 2003 to 2018.
Yeah, you're right. It was a long
didn't know when.
show.
I thought it was like a very short show.
No, yeah, that was on Adult Swim forever. Anyway, originally he was supposed to actually build his big summer home there, and Sting sent a note to the producers objecting that KUZCO wouldn't have really changed or learned from his experiences if he still built an excessive mansion. So KUZCO instead builds a much smaller hut that is more appropriate for the village and the peasants' way of life. So this is the first time that Sting wrote it into
Critical
Disney
role.
to be like, you should change this, and they did it. That's crazy.
So Sting gets the credit for that part.
Exactly.
But my question is, how did Sting see that? Like, is Sting got to see the movie because they were like,
Yeah.
you
He was-
almost had a part of it.
Well,
They
he was
usually
writing all
do.
the songs for it at the time. Like, they hadn't decided to take all the songs out yet. He was still there watching everything,
Gotcha.
writing the songs, doing compositions.
They'll
and stuff.
send them a copy of the movie
Yeah.
without any music or anything to it. It's the animation with the voice acting and
Yeah.
everything, and they're like, make music for this.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So that was pretty cool. Anyway,
It's so lame
that
to like see a,
Oh,
a
yeah, it
movie
would
like
be-
that with
it
no
would be
music.
I wonder
awful.
if they gave it to him with the Tom Jones song in there. He's like, hey,
no, because the Tom Jones song.
I like Tom Jones.
Because what happened was, Sting said, "I don't want to make the theme song for this because I think you need to get someone younger and more hip to make the song." And what did Disney do? They got
They went
someone.
Tom Jones.
They got
Older
someone who
and
was
more
10 years
wonderful.
older than him.
But I love Tom Jones.
yeah, Tom Jones is good, and it's a good song. But
well,
like,
it's not unusual.
I knew who Tom Jones was. I didn't know what Tom Jones looked like.
yeah.
Well, he also he was like, "Who's Tom Jones?" And I was like, "What's new, pussycat?" And he was like, "Oh."
Yeah. Well, also, her favorite joke of all time is John Mulaney's.
The diner scene of John. If you have not listened
Okay,
to the
after
diner
this,
scene,
we're
Wait,
showing-
why don't I remember?
It's the Salt
I've
and
seen
Pepper
all-
Diner.
I've seen all John Mulaney stand-ups.
so it's one of his oldest ones. And
Okay.
he talks about the Salt and Pepper Diner, and he goes.
We'll just show him later.
We'll show him later.
Okay.
It's
After this.
wonderful, and it involves Tom Jones's.
What's new, pussycat?
I love John Mulaney.
You
I
so
do too.
We'll put it on TV. After.
Okay, cool.
You will love it.
All right. Anyway,
And listeners, you should also watch it.
Yeah,
'cause
go
it's
check it
great.
out.
Or listen to it on YouTube.
yeah, go
The
search
Keys.
in Google because I'm not going to remember to put that in the
John
show
Mulaney,
notes.
Salt and Pepper Diner.
There you go. That's the end of the show. That's the end of this thing.
Ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba.
Apparently, we're
Price
going
is
into
Right.
Family Feud.
Oh, that's Family Feud. Yeah. Anyway,
Good answer.
you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at WreckMyPodcast. We have an email, wreckmypodcast@gmail.com, if you're so inclined. Ratings and reviews are appreciated, and subscribe to us on your podcast app of choice or YouTube. If you want to support us?
Sephora?
Sephora?
Phosphorus?
Phosphorus, yes. If you want to support us, check out our Patreon. We also have exclusive content that comes out every week. Don't miss that. Comes out Fridays. We have some ways you can financially support us besides the Patreon. Everything's in the show notes. You can go to our website, check all that stuff out. We have merchandise. We have an Amazon link. We have the Patreon. Thank you to Ben from Petrified Gumbo Music for making our amazing intro song. If you have a podcast or show you need a composition for, hit him up at petrifiedgumbomusic.com. We have episodes come out every Monday called Around a Round Table. They're super fun. We also have Patreon content come out on Friday, so go throw us $1 every month and you can get that. And every Wednesday, like this show, we have a topic. Guys, I have an idea for a topic next week. Tell me what you think about it. Minority Report.
Hell yeah, I love that movie.
It's on Amazon Prime right now, and I almost. You guys have
I've never seen it.
It's such a good movie.
It's
so good.
It's on Amazon Prime right now, so you don't have to really pay for it.
Who's in it?
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Tom
Tom
Cruise.
Hanks.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. What's the lady's
Doesn't
name?
matter.
Yeah, I don't remember anyone else in it.
It's wonderful.
but
Just
it's
watch
so
it.
good.
It's so good.
It's a sci-fi classic from I think like 2001 or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I almost watched it last night, and I thought, you know what, this would be a good one for the pod because I haven't seen it since it came out.
100.
Cool. We're doing Minority Report next week, people, so
Okay.
come back for that. Thank you to my guests for being here, Kate and Morgan, you guys filling in for Cam leaving. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And finally, I don't thank Joe and Krager. They're always here. And finally, thank you to our listeners. I love getting wrecked with you. Goodbye.
Bye.
KUZCO.
My spinach puffs.
You turned him into a llama.
He's supposed to be dead.
Yeah.
Wrong llama.
What are the odds that ever let me here? Yeah.
Any more? Anything else you need to get off your chest?
Squeaking.
Huh? It's your birthday?
I don't know it's your birthday, Isma. KUZCO, let's go. Let's get a beer, all right? Let's do it.
Okay, bye.
That wasn't bad.
Wreck My Podcast.